Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to do kind of a fun prompt for this video, which is if I could only keep one makeup product in each of the categories, what would I keep? So I love this prompt because it makes me really think, because I have a lot of favorites and I feel like I've already kind of been strict with what I keep in my makeup collection to just my favorites. So picking between them can be a little hard. So this is what I would pick today. You know, even in 6 months, this probably would change, but I think it's a fun prompt. Would love to hear if you have all-time favorite products that you would absolutely keep if you had to get rid of everything else. Let me know in the comment section. Let's go ahead and dive in. If you are a follower of my channel, some of these probably aren't surprises to you, but you know, I'm pretty consistent. Let's just say that. So let's start with eyes. So for eye primer, I use the Milani eyeshadow primer. This is my favorite. One tube typically lasts me a whole year, so I'm really not like buying a lot of eye primer, and this one has just worked consistently for me. So I don't see a reason to keep anything else other than this one in this scenario. So this would be my eye primer. For my eyeshadow, this one is always, I feel like, the hardest. I decided to go with the Lunar Beauty Nude Prism palette. So I've been playing with this one recently. I absolutely adore the shades in here. First of all, it has a giant mirror, which is lovely. And then these are the shades. So it is a very kind of neutral palette. Obviously you're seeing in the center, there's like this row of incredible shimmers that are like very metallic, which I love. And then I also love the tones of the matte shades. So I have kind of more pinkier up here and a little bit more like brown and then some deeper shades here. And again, just these awesome shimmers in the center. So this is the palette I would pick. I feel like I could get through the whole year loving this palette because I have such versatility with, you know, if I wanted something like lighter and pinkier in the spring, if I wanted one shadow looks with some of these shimmers in the summer, if I wanted more kind of like orangey looks for the fall, I've got some of those. And then for winter, I feel like in winter, I just kind of do a classic eye look most of the time, and I could accomplish this. So this would be the palette I pick. If I could only pick one palette in my collection, this would be the one that I would keep. So that was a hard one, but I feel good about it because I have other beautiful palettes too, you know, and like I could totally see myself using them, but that's the one I would pick. All right, so for eyeliner, I don't wear eyeliner, so I wouldn't pick one. But for mascara, CoverGirl Exhibitionist, if you know, you know, this has been my favorite mascara for a number of years. I love the wand on it. It is a natural bristle brush with a very slight hourglass shape. It's not too much, but I love what it does for my lashes, for the volume, slight separation, but not spidery, and it's just my favorite. So this is the mascara I would pick. And then for brows, I kind of go between either a brow gel or a pomade. And today I would say that I would pick the e.l.f. Wow Brow Tinted Brow Gel. This one is, I think the shade Taupe is what I got. And this is just a little tinted brush, but I love it. It's what I have in my brows today. I just can kind of add a little bit of color to them and smooth them out. I don't need to like carve my brows every day. I do like that look on time to time, but for the sake of this prompt, if I were to only pick one, I would pick this Wow Brow. I know that there's other brands that do it, but I also feel like e.l.f. does just fine in this category. So this is the one I would keep. And that's it for eyes. So let's move into face products. And I'm going to start with the complexion and the base, and then we'll go into color products. So for my primer, also not a surprise, Fenty Beauty. This is the Pro Filter True Matte Primer. This is my favorite primer. It's the only face primer I use. Super loyal to it. I do have oily combination skin, but I don't like a silicone-y, slippery primer. And that's why I love this one, because it doesn't have that consistency. And I do feel like this helps kind of keep some shine and oil at bay, but it's not overly drying either. So this is my favorite. I can wear it with powders. I can wear it with like liquid foundations. It just always works for me. So this is the one I would pick and keep. So that's probably boring because it's not that different from what you're already used to hearing me say. So for the category of foundation, I'm picking a skin tint. This is from Supergoop. It's the Protectant. I discovered this earlier this year. It's what I have on my face today. I absolutely love this product. I don't even remember what shade this is. It's kind of rubbed off at this point, but there's a ton of shades and yeah, it works well. So this would be the liquid kind of foundation I would use or pick in this case. And it has an SPF 50, which is just a nice bonus. So this would be my foundation of choice. For powder, I picked a powder foundation because I could layer it over this to set it, or I could wear it alone. And this is also a longtime favorite, the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Powder Foundation. I wear the shade 120, and it is just gorgeous. Obviously, I pan on it. I have a couple others, and I don't know, there's something about this. It just melts into my skin, and it blends super easily. It doesn't look heavy on the skin. Even at the end of the day, like my oil will kind of like come through like in my T-zone, but it still looks good. It's not totally broken up or anything like that. So I love this. I also love that it's super buildable. Like I can do a very light dusting of this on my face, or I can really build it up in certain areas. So for that versatility, I also love this product. So this would be the powder. For concealer, I would pick the e.l.f. Putty Eye Correcting or Color Correcting Eye Brightener. This is one of those kind of like peachy salmon shades. I love this. This has worked really well for me all year. I do use it lightly underneath my eyes, but I will also use this on my face. So if I have an acne spot or even like a scar from an acne, breakout that's healing, I will put just a little bit of this over it, and it just kind of neutralizes it, which is what I really like about it. Sometimes I have some redness around my nose, and I can put just a little bit there, and it, neutralizes that. So I find this to be super versatile. It works kind of anywhere on my skin. And so for that reason, I absolutely love it. And this would be the one that I keep. All right. So, let me just mention my setting spray. I kind of think it's like a complexion product. It's the Milani Make It Last. This would be the one that I keep. I have tried a variety of brands. This is just the one I keep coming back to, and I like the original more than I like, say, the matte version. It just, I don't know, I just like this one the best. I don't notice a ton of difference between, the different brands. So it's not that I'm like super duper loyal to it. It's just the most convenient. I'm comfortable with how it works, so I just keep going back to it. So let's get into some color face products. So I have bronzer first. The Milani bronzer. This has been my favorite. I've been panning it all year, so it's been featured a ton on my channel. But this is the Silky Matte Bronzer in the shade 01 Sunlight. I do prefer either a satin or a matte bronzer. I don't like something too glittery, so this works really well for me. And this is, if you are fair, like I am and a pale girly, this is such a good color match. So it's not overly dark, which is nice. I can build it. So I use this even in the summertime, and I just go heavier with it. But I love that for the winter time, I can still just kind of take my fluffy brush and dust it, and it's never going to be like too dark or splotchy. So this is in the shade 01. I think there's 3 shades. So if you're not as pale as me, but this would be the bronzer I pick. It's just like Old Faithful, super reliable. For blush, I would also pick a Milani blush. This one is the Romantic Rose 01 shade for their Rose Powder blush line. This looks like nothing in the pan. It honestly, like, you're kind of like, what would that even do? But it just gives enough of a flush without being overpowering. It's super neutral, so it's not like gonna take over your face. You could still do a bold lip, you could still do a fun eye, and this is just always going to work, which is why I would pick it if I could only pick one blush, because this works no matter what look I'm doing, no matter what time of year, this one works. So this is what I would pick for my blush. And then for highlight, I'm not super picky on highlight. I love an Hourglass face palette. So I actually currently have 3 in my collection. So I would pick any Hourglass highlight because all 3 I love. So I'm just going to show you one that I have right now that I'm working on in my Project Pan and everything. This is from the quad a few years back at this point. But like all of the highlights I've tried from Hourglass are so finely milled that they aren't chunky. They're not like over the top. I also feel like when I put my brush in and I tap it, I get enough off that it's not like this you know, like strobe of highlight and then nothing. Like I just feel really comfortable with their formula. So that's what I would pick, is any Hourglass highlight. That's the right shade for me, which is not super specific, but that's what I would pick. So I think that's it for face. Let's go into lips. So I was thinking about this, and I really don't use, you know, a ton of lip products. I don't use a lip liner, so I wouldn't pick one. And I basically just use lip gloss or a lipstick. So I picked one gloss and one stick to talk through, of course, because I could only pick one. So for the lipstick, I would pick the Charlotte Tilbury Icon Baby shade. I was just complaining earlier about the shade Bitch Perfect being too orangey for me. This one is perfect for me. It was my wedding lipstick too, so I'm sentimentally like bonded to this one, but it just always works for me. So this is the shade that I would pick. And again, it just suits like how my style of makeup is and what I like. It's very kind of a neutral lip. For a lip gloss, I would pick the NYX Butter Gloss. I was going back and forth because there are a few glosses I like, but this one I always like to have in my collection. So when I finish it or it goes off, I kind of almost always repurchase right away. The shade that I like is Creme Brulee. It's just a nice neutral light pink. It matches my skin, you know, coloration very well. It doesn't have any shimmer in it. So I do like a shimmery gloss, but not always. So that's why I didn't pick a shimmery gloss, and I picked one that was just kind of like a single solid color, because this looks good no matter what. It's hydrating on the lips. It just feels nice, you know, like you can't go wrong with it. So this would be the lipstick, or I'm sorry, the lip gloss that I would pick. And that wraps up all the categories of makeup I use anyway, which has definitely been streamlined over the years. I used to have a lot more categories and things that I did and layered and all that, but I feel like I've gotten much more, I don't know, normal with my makeup collection. So anyway, we'd love to hear from you. If you had to only pick one in each category, what would you pick? Which categories would be the hardest? Like I said, the eyeshadow was pretty tough for me because there are some beautiful eyeshadows in my collection, but yeah, I think that Nude Prism is a good one. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for my next Vlogmas video. All right, bye.